People often move away from the noise of the city, searching for peace. But not every place, not every house, and not every piece of land offers the peace people hope for. Some places hide secrets so old, so dark, that humans were never meant to uncover them. Our story begins near a small, quiet town, tucked deep inside the thick woods of Pennsylvania. A small family had just moved here. Ryan, Emily, and their 6-year-old son, Noah. They believed they were starting a new life. They believed they were escaping the chaos of the city. But the truth was, they had unknowingly stepped into a place where something else had been waiting, watching, listening, and longing to be found. One quiet afternoon, Noah was playing in the backyard, just like he always did. But on this day, something strange caught his attention. At the far corner of the yard, partially hidden beneath the dry, yellowing grass, he noticed a small, deep opening in the ground. It looked like a rabbit hole. But there was something unsettling about it. Something too perfectly round. Too deep. Curiosity pulled him closer. He took slow steps toward the hole, unaware that this was no ordinary animal burrow. It was a pathway, one that had been sealed by time, roots, and nature itself. A pathway leading to something that should never be disturbed. Something no person was ever meant to discover. Noah knelt beside it and leaned forward, trying to peek inside. But all he could see was darkness. A thick, hollow darkness, so deep that even the faint evening light seemed afraid to enter. He whispered softly, as if speaking to the darkness itself. "Hello? Is anything in there?" The hole gave no answer. Just silence. A silence that didn't feel empty, but waiting. That night, while the house rested in deep silence, everyone slept peacefully. Everyone, except Noah. Suddenly, Noah jolted awake. Sweat clung to his forehead. His breath shook. And his eyes stared wide into the darkness of his room, filled with pure fear. He had seen a nightmare. A terrifying one. In his dream, that same strange rabbit hole was in front of him again. But this time, it wasn't still. It was pulling him inward. And then, from the center of that endless darkness, something moved. A long, thin, rotting hand, with decaying flesh peeling off its cracked, lifeless skin, shot out suddenly from the depths, and wrapped itself around Noah's leg. Its grip cold, tight, unhuman. It began dragging him toward the darkness. Noah screamed, "No!" And in that wild panic, he woke up. He sat upright in bed, gasping for air. Sweat dripping down his neck. The room still swallowed in shadows. A moment later, Emily rushed into the bedroom. She knelt beside him and asked, her voice shaking, "Noah. Honey, what happened? Did you have a nightmare?" Noah didn't speak. He only nodded, too scared, too confused, unable to explain what he had seen. Emily thought it was just a bad dream. Ryan thought the same. A child's imagination, nothing more. But they were wrong. Very wrong. Because the real story had only just begun. What Noah saw last night, what he felt. Everyone believed it was just a nightmare. But what was coming next was far more terrifying than any dream. It was the next evening, around 5:30 p.m. The sky glowed a warm orange, and the sunlight made the tree leaves shimmer like they were dusted in gold. Emily worked quietly in the kitchen, humming to herself. And Noah, drawn by something he couldn't explain, wandered once again toward the backyard. He walked straight to the same spot. The same rabbit hole. The same opening that had left him shaking and drenched in sweat the night before. He bent down slowly, staring inside. And then, he heard it again. Noah froze, his small shoulders going stiff. But curiosity, or something far darker, pulled him closer. He leaned in. And then leaned even closer, peering deep into the darkness. Inside, he saw nothing. No movement, no sound. Just an endless, bottomless black. He tilted his head a little more. His nose only inches from the hole. And suddenly, two red, glowing, eyes opened inside the darkness. They blinked once. Then again. Slow, deliberate, alive. And just like that, Noah's expression changed. His eyes softened. His face went blank, empty, emotionless. As if the darkness had reached out and taken hold of him. The sun had set completely. But Noah was still in the backyard. Still bent over the rabbit hole. Still frozen in the exact same posture. He wasn't moving. Not fidgeting. Not even breathing loudly. Just, still. Emily glanced out from the kitchen window and spotted him. She called out gently, "Noah. Honey, come inside, it's getting dark." But Noah didn't respond. She looked again. And he stood exactly where he was, like a statue carved out of cold stone. Concern twisted inside her chest. She stepped out the back door. Emily called a little louder, "Noah. Didn't you hear me? Come inside." But Noah still didn't move. Not a twitch. Not a blink. Emily's heartbeat quickened. She rushed toward him. She grabbed his small shoulder and shook him. "Noah," she cried. Noah slowly lifted his head. But his eyes were wrong. They looked hollow. Empty. As if he were staring through her. Or at something far away that she couldn't see. And then, in a deep, heavy, unnatural voice. A voice that sounded nothing like a child. But like a grown man speaking through him. Noah said, "Leave this place before midnight." Emily stumbled backward, shock freezing her for a moment. A cold shiver crawled up her spine. In that instant, she understood. This wasn't a nightmare. This wasn't imagination. Something else. Something much darker. Had touched Noah. Something lurking inside that hole. There was a strange stillness in the air that night. A heavy silence that didn't feel natural, almost as if the world itself was holding its breath. The clock struck 9. Noah had eaten his dinner, and drifted off to sleep. Ryan stood on the porch, shoulders slumped, eyes tired from a long day. He stepped inside and asked softly, "Hey. I'm late. Everything okay?" Emily's voice trembled as she explained everything, Noah's trance, the strange voice, the warning. Ryan listened, worry tightening his jaw. But he tried to calm her. He gently said, "Maybe he's just feeling unwell. We'll take him to the doctor tomorrow. Don't stress too much." They ate dinner in uneasy silence. The mood was heavy, the house unusually cold. Lights went off. Ryan and Emily finally headed to bed, unaware of the horror that midnight would bring. Night deepened. The clock hands crawled toward 12. At that exact moment, Noah's eyes snapped open. Red. Glowing. Like pools of blood reflecting fire. He stared straight up at the ceiling. And there, hanging upside down, was a creature. Like a massive, twisted spider. Its limbs bent at unnatural angles. Its face torn open, bones jutting through the flesh. Skin rotting and peeling off like wet paper. Its grin stretched far too wide. A grotesque, impossible smile. As it glared directly at Noah. The creature slowly drifted downward. Its body floating. Its head turning with slow, stiff cracks. until it was inches from Noah's face. And as it came closer, Noah's own skin began to react. Cracks spread across his cheeks, darkening like charred flesh. Rot crept along the edges of his face. His expression twisted, contorting, deforming. It was as if Noah's body was mimicking the creature, copying the horror that hovered over him, becoming something it wanted him to be. Noah rose from his bed. No sound. No emotion. His face blank, cold, lifeless. He walked straight toward the kitchen. He grabbed the vegetable cutting knife from the counter. Then, without hesitation, he turned and began climbing the stairs. With every step he took, the old wooden staircase creaked faintly, almost as if the house itself were welcoming the disaster that was about to unfold. Noah reached his parents' bedroom door. He pushed it open slowly, the hinges groaning softly in the dark. The room was drowned in deep shadow. Emily's eyes snapped open. Something felt wrong. And then she saw him. Noah, standing at the doorway, a knife in his small hand. His face twisted, reshaped by something demonic inside him. Panicked, she reached out and switched on the night lamp. And in that very instant, Noah lunged forward and drove the knife straight into Ryan's chest. Emily screamed, "No!" She stumbled back, racing toward the door, trying to escape. But the door slammed shut on its own, hard, sealing the room completely. Escape now was almost impossible. Emily pounded on the door, her hands trembling, her breath broken and panicked. She cried out, "Open it! Please, open the door!" But inside, there was no answer. No movement. Only the sound of Noah's deep, unsettling breathing. And a whisper. A whisper that crawled through the cracks of the door. "It's too late." Suddenly, the house lights began flickering violently. Emily spun around, her heart freezing. The backyard door was slowly opening on its own. A cold wind brushed across her cheeks, sharp like ice. And the whisper grew heavier, deeper, closer. "Emily, here, down here." Emily stepped into the backyard. And what she saw made the breath leave her body. Inside the rabbit hole, two burning red eyes glowed like molten embers, watching her. And beneath those eyes, the creature began to rise. The same creature from Noah's dream. Rotting skin hanging off its skull. A long, pitch-black, inhuman body. Slowly crawling upward. Inch by inch. It pulled itself out of the hole. From behind her. Inside the house. Noah's laughter echoed. Emily turned sharply. Noah stood in the doorway, a blood-soaked knife in his tiny hand. His shadow stretched unnaturally across the ground. Long, twisted, monstrous. He began walking toward her. Slowly. Deliberately. Each step filled with terrifying intent. Emily staggered backward. The creature moved closer, towering over the hole. And then it spoke. Its voice thundering, rattling the very air. "This house is mine. Always was. Always will be." Emily screamed. But the sound vanished instantly, swallowed by something unseen. Her bones twisted suddenly, bending in impossible angles. She collapsed to the ground, helpless and writhing. An invisible force seized her, yanking her toward the rabbit hole. She clawed at the dirt, but her fingers snapped. One by one. Her eyes widened in agony. Her face contorted with unbearable pain. She slid closer. Inch by inch. until her entire body was swallowed by the deep, endless darkness. And then Noah collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Emily had somehow managed to run all the way into the garden. But the moment she stopped to catch her breath, a strange stillness washed over her. She froze completely. It was as if her feet had sunk into the ground. Her hands trembled, but she couldn't move them. Her eyes widened with terror. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. And yet her body felt locked in place by something unseen, something ancient, something that had been waiting. Slowly, a shape began to emerge in front of her, right at the edge of the rabbit hole, standing in the darkness. The same demon, tall, pitch black, rotting skin hanging in strips, eyes burning blood red. From its mouth flowed a thick, black smoke, darker than the night itself. It snarled as it moved closer, so close that Emily could feel its putrid breath scorching her skin. And then it spoke. "This house is mine." Its voice was broken, guttural, as if rising from the bottom of a deep, dark well. And in the next instant, the same voice multiplied, echoing through the trees, the soil, the walls. "Mine, mine, mine." Emily wanted to scream, to run. But her voice was trapped in her throat. Something twisted inside her. Her bones felt as if they were being pulled apart. Then suddenly, her fingers bent backward, in angles no human body could ever withstand. She tried to scream, but before the sound could escape, something stole it away. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Tears filled her eyes. Her whole body trembled, but she remained stuck, helpless. Then, her right foot slid backward, on its own. Then the left. Marks dragged across the grass as an invisible force pulled her. The rabbit hole, dark, bottomless, waited for her, like a hungry mouth. Patient, relentless. Emily clawed at the ground, desperately trying to hold on. But her fingers were already broken. The earth slipped away beneath her. Her body slid, inch by inch, toward the hole. And as she disappeared into the darkness, the curse lived on, waiting for the next soul, the next family, the next story to begin. By sunrise, the entire house was surrounded by police. Crime scene tape wrapped around the yard. Officers, detectives, forensic teams were everywhere. Blood stains on the floor, scratch marks along the stairs, shattered objects across the hallway. And in the bedroom, Noah's father's body. Police officer asked to Noah, "Son, what happened last night? Do you remember anything?" Noah shook his head and replied, "No. I don't remember anything." His small eyes were blank and innocent. And the truth was, he really didn't. Behind him, paramedics covered his father's body and lifted it onto a stretcher. And Emily was nowhere to be found. Not in the house. Not in the backyard. Not in the woods. She had vanished. Noah's grandparents arrived around noon. Eyes swollen, faces shattered by grief. His grandmother wrapped him in a tight embrace and said, "Come on, sweetheart. You're coming with us now." Noah stayed silent. Very quiet. The car door closed. The engine started. And the vehicle slowly pulled away from the house. From the backseat window, Noah looked at the house one last time. The shadowy woods. The cold stillness. The decaying backyard. And then, right above the house, a shape of monster appeared standing on this haunted house. Its eyes were red and scary. Its long hands and nails were soaked in blood. Noah blinked. On his small face emerged a faint, cold, bone-chilling smile. As if the story wasn't ending, but only beginning. Please subscribe our channel for next part of this bone-chilling hunted story.